But first, I want to ask you about an announcement we saw from Biden late last week saying that it is his plan to immediately distribute all vaccine doses instead of holding half of them back to ensure everyone who gets that first shot can get the second. Can you explain the reasoning behind this decision and why you think it might be a better approach here?
Well, first of all, let me just be really clear here. I'm very honored to have been serving as an advisor on the advisory board to the president-elect and vice president-elect, but I surely don't speak for the transition team. But let me tell you what I see happening here is the transition team has been very clear about science will, in fact, rule the day for how these vaccines are used, when they're used, where, et cetera. And so let's first of all just clarify there is absolutely no deviation from the need for a second dose at the appropriate time. And they've made that very, very clear. So this is not like the situation in England where they have decided to postpone doses. That's been a rumor that's been out there that there is going to be some deviation from that. There is not. The science will, in fact, determine when vaccines are to be given. Second of all, is when the program was set up, there was literally a plan to hold every second dose until it is needed, as opposed to actually mixing, you might say, some of those second doses that could be given earlier as a first dose, and then allowing the increasing capacity in manufacturing to cover for the second dose and the new first doses. So, what the Biden team has done, I think very wisely, has said we don't need to hold all those second doses. At this point, we know that the capacity is going to increase, but we can plan for if there is some challenge to a one lot, for example, where a sterility problem may come up or a manufacturing glitch. We can actually come up with a strategic reserve of that vaccine so that we can still meet the needs of second doses. So the truth of this whole situation is somewhere between the two extremes that people have been presenting. That in fact all doses will get released, or that it'll just stay the same. And I think they have very wisely measured what we can surely expect vaccine delivery to be, take into account a possible glitch in manufacturing, and still have enough doses. So you're going to see more doses out there, but it won't be all of them.
So it sounds like what you're saying is there's an idea of putting some of this into a reserve, and I'm hoping you could elaborate a little bit more on that. And then what about people that are concerned that if they get that first shot, that then there's not going to be enough supply for them to get the second shot?
Well, let me answer the second question first. This is really important. The incoming administration is planning very carefully to make sure that that second shot is delivered on time. And so please, at this point, do not be concerned about that. I'm very confident that the plans cover that. Again, when I talk about holding back vaccine, uh, the incoming administration, the transition team, has done a very, very careful review of what the manufacturing capacity is now, what it will be likely in 30 to 60 days, and how you plan then for both accommodating an increasing number of first doses as well as having enough vaccine as backup insurance, you might say, so that should a particular lot of the vaccine not come through at the scheduled time, that we can still cover the first and second dose situation. So I'm very confident that what they're talking about doing is exactly what I think is the best science. Get as much vaccine as you can out first doses. Have your ability to make sure you can deliver on second doses, even if something should happen. We don't anticipate it to happen. But at the same time, don't hold all second doses and wait 3 to 4 weeks. So I think that's a very a good plan that's based on good science, based on good numbers, and I'm very confident that it will yield ultimately the most protection for Americans as quickly as possible.